some music. And
Sam Springer, how are you, brother? Thanks for joining.
What's up, Sam? Starting out this episode with Jam Alker, Fixing the Wrong Fix.
Jam Alker, Fixing the Wrong Fix. My man, Jam. While we're waiting, if you guys want to jump on No More Heroin, or if you just want to stay here on mine, that's fine. If you're not familiar with No More Heroin, by all means, look into them. What's the word? Haynesville, Ohio. Oh, no, I don't know. Big Mike Gambo. Been a minute, Mike. Hey, daughter, Sam.
And shame and threats. People with bounce and streets and corners and soldiers and $100 pieces of basketball cookies and trying to erase it by numb and broken.
Hi, Tari. Been a minute. Good to see you on here. We're just going through a little intro, and then we're going to get talking. What's up, Bobby? Thanks, brother. I really appreciate that, man. You know, it's been a long time coming, and been redirected by the publishing company, and this thing is going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get it in the hands of just about as many people as I can. So, thank you.
Self-respect or self-neglect, my head high, oh, I've been fixing the wrong fix. I'm bringing both the sticks.
Yeah, I'm okay, baby.
Broken both your picture. Here's your myself choice.
Hey, Michelle. Welcome. Hello, DJ. Keep posting those beautiful pictures. So he is absolutely amazing. Even with the little scare, we were out there praying. We weren't worried.
Corey D. Delgado.
Corey Delgado. Bro.
Please share this out, guys. We're talking about some relevant issues.
Emmy Gray, Ken, welcome. Johnny Steve. I'm good, brother. How you doing? Vincina, my new connect. Welcome. Just going through a little intro. I'm actually live on my page right now, recording off and being interviewed on No More Heroin. We're going to talk about some relevant stuff. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for joining. We're going to talk about some relevant stuff as far as peer support, advocacy, and just kind of go freestyle tonight on No More Heroin. So if you're not hip to No More Heroin, find them on Facebook, No More Heroin.
Like and follow No More Heroin.
Like and follow.
NoMoreHeroin.org in the search bar.
Master Mentor, I love you, brother. It's been a while. We got to catch up. So.
All right. Welcome everybody to a special episode of the Survivor Series with Elder Denny Wilson, founder and CEO of FI Community Housing in Akron, Ohio. It's the oldest and longest standing men's recovery program to date. Elder Denny Wilson is a major advocate. I just knocked my light off. Hold on. Technical difficulties already. Good thing I do this from my bedroom.
So you guys can hear Higgy okay? I want you guys to be able to hear his interaction too. For those of you on No More Heroin, thanks for bearing with us. We're kind of trying to get this word out to as many as possible.
Entry. Denny Wilson, all the way. He is the the implementer, the creator of the Ohio Peer Support Program. He's the facilitator, trainer. He does it all. He's a major player in this recovery movement. He is a mentor of mine. He is a great friend and a role model to look up to. He is also an author. So welcome, Denny, for being here. Thank you for taking the time. I know you have a busy schedule. You just trained a whole class of peer supporters today. So
Yes.
Again, welcome. Can you just give our audience some insight into what your training looked like and where that took place? Hi, Bobby Stacks.
Well, I think it's really important that we establish the baseline for why I'm so passionate about this and why we pursued it. Long story short, it did not exist in the state of Ohio for a very long time, and I personally went and chased the powers that be around for 6 months to bring the model of recovery coaching to Ohio, and then was at the table when SAMHSA. We came up with the definition of recovery as it relates to those with substance use disorders and mental illness, and was at the table when we came up with Ohio's definition, and the roles and responsibilities of those that operate as peer supporters and recovery coaches. And now I've been privileged to train just under 900 individuals around the state as recovery coaches and peer supporters. And yes, today is day 4 of a 5-day, 40-hour training. Really excited down in Canton, Ohio, creating or just adding to the Army.
Absolutely. Well, it's such a needed service, and in the recovery community in the state of Ohio, which is still ground zero for the opioid epidemic. We're making positive strides in this epidemic, but we need more people coming on board. Can you give our audience some guidance on how to become a recovery peer supporter specialist?
Yeah, absolutely. And, and I don't want to really run past what you just said as far as the importance and the need that's out there. We are definitely not where we were, and over the last 20 years, if I had any regrets, I would have liked to have built a timeline of the progression that we have made, but we still got a lot of work to do. And if anybody is interested in becoming an certified Ohio peer supporter, that paraprofessional with the certification, now Medicaid reimbursable, all of those things, you just go to the OMOS website, or you can Google Ohio peer supporter training, and it'll hand walk you into the process from the application, the prerequisites that you have to take online, 16 hours of that, where you can plug into a 40-hour classroom or training in your area or something close, and the next steps after you do that.
So what does the acronym OMOS stand for?
Ohio Mental Health, the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
Okay,
the D is silent.
That's what you look up to find what the requirements are, how to get involved with this, because why is peer support critical in this fight?
Well, I mean, it's not a new concept. It just didn't exist on the level that it needed to be with persons with substance use disorders or drug and alcohol problems. For decades, we've been placing people around peers that have experienced trauma, that have experienced grief, people that other physical and mental illnesses, and it just made sense that we know how to reach those individuals that are still sick and suffering, those that want to continue to walk into or enter into the maintenance stage of recovery, that long-term recovery that we all hope for and wish for a long time, and it's still out there to a great degree that, if my loved one is sick, I just send them off to treatment and they come back and everything is rainbows and daffodils. And anybody that's in the industry or is in recovery knows that's the farthest thing from the truth. The magic happens in recovery support. And when you have that support in place with someone with that lived experience, that peer aspect of it, it just the success rate just goes through the roof, or the possibilities of success goes through the roof.
Absolutely. We wanted to talk about, we've had multiple conversations about this, and the online community has a skewed view of what advocacy is. And you are a person that has been in DC doing true advocacy. You have been to Columbus, the State House, multiple times, advocating for change within our state. What is the true definition for advocacy?
And I'm glad you brought that up. And again, that is just one of the wonders of my recovery journey, and me taking on the personal responsibility of helping as many people as I can, once I entered into recovery. And I don't want to discourage anybody out there that's doing anything to help anybody. Let me get that out there right now. But I like how you said it's been watered down, obscured as far as what true advocacy is. Advocacy, there's actually two different types. There's big A advocacy and there's little a advocacy. And the majority of what I see on the online community is that little a advocacy. And that is where we are interceding, we're running interference for someone who may need some help getting into somewhere, okay? Accessing services. And that's fine. That's much needed. That's great. But when you think about advocacy, advocacy starts in the home, okay? It starts in your community. It starts in your city, spreads to your state, and then you're able to do some of the things in the country. Hey, Tyler, I think that where we get it confused is that we hold these rallies and everything, and we get together and we hold ourselves out there as advocates because we're able to be resource connectors. And that's not what advocacy is all about. And again, I don't want to discourage anybody, but my role in life is to really educate and bring people along. So let me give you the rawest definition of advocacy as I can. And this is straight out of this new book that's coming out. We'll do a shameless plug later. But
okay, right on. Heroinbook.com.
Right. Big A advocacy often attracts involvement. This is because we have been on the receiving end of services and that are not always optional. Once we become a part of the system through employment or even volunteering, we are sensitive to policies and practices that could be improved. In this way, Big A advocacy can have a positive effect on the individuals, the system, the communities, all of those things that we need to do. So, but advocacy in a nutshell is the act or process of supporting a cause or proposal. Okay, it has nothing to do with individuals. Right now, today, and Higgy, I thank you for pointing that out. I do spend a lot of time between our state's capital, Columbus, Ohio, and in DC, up on the Hill, and really lending my voice and my experience, which we all have. If you're in recovery in any way, shape, or form, you have the ability to advocate on so many different levels. But it starts with yourself, okay? You have to advocate for what you know is missing in your own life. And that goes back to self-awareness. So advocacy starts with you. There's an old African proverb that says you cannot take care of anything outside of your house until you take care of your house. And it makes perfect sense because this is our house. This is our house. And each and every person has value, right? But sometimes we want to try to push that value out onto the world when it doesn't really exist. And that's the frustrating part.
And that's a result from a lot of ego-driven motive, self-serving.
And it's quite common, and it's very understandable. Is it healthy? Absolutely not. Understandable to the point that we have finally gotten out of hell, okay, and into a position to where we are accomplishing great things that we should be very proud of. But then we get into the false recognition that we need and the ego, and heaven forbid somebody recognize us and provide some credibility that doesn't really need to be there.
Absolutely. That's where the online marketing comes into play as well, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. If you think about your natural progression in life, okay, you were a baby, okay. You had to learn to crawl. You fell down several times, but you eventually got to where you can walk and run and all of those things. If you know that you have value and that you have been called to work in this industry in any way, shape, or form, don't disrupt that natural progression, okay? Learn as much about addiction recovery as you can. Learn as much about yourself as you can. Work on yourself more than anything. Add to your value so that you can add to the value of the recovery community instead of trying to push your way in or push your way to the top.
Absolutely. I'm getting some feedback, but that's okay. Well, there you go. So advocacy is very important, and it lends a voice to our movement.
Yes.
What is a real and viable way of providing unity within this community, all the while advocating for recovery?
I think the easiest way to provide unity in this community is to share open community or open communication on a regular basis. Set aside everything that you think you know about addiction recovery each and every day. Set aside everything that you think you know about the people that are in your circle or outside your circle, so that you can have a brand new experience and open yourselves up. Because I know at the end of the day, some of the individuals that I work with, that I see in the online community that are out here trying to do their best, the passion is there. You know, every once in a while, you'll come across those bad eggs that are doing things for the right reasons, and they're seeking more popularity than anything else, and they're using their power over their influence, which really doesn't do a community like ours any justice. But again, the single most viable thing that I think we need to do as a community is be open to brand new and other ideals and ideas outside of our own.
Absolutely. I mean, the disease of addiction has evolved from the old days, and there are multiple pathways to recovery. You know,
Absolutely.
there's the 12 steps. There's faith-based. There's a medically assisted treatment.
Mm-hmm.
There's
smart recovery,
refuge recovery.
Mm-hmm.
There's all different pathways, and I really believe that educating ourselves in various aspects, because to be honest, you're the one that impressed upon me after one of my relapses that I needed to expand my horizons, that, you know, 12 steps is great, but I needed to implement more facets because my disease is multifaceted. So
Sure.
my recovery needs to be multifaceted as well. So I took that to heart, and I've implemented some other, you know, things to add value to my recovery, because for me, sitting in a meeting every day, you know, I can sit in meetings all day, every day, but those meetings by themselves will not keep me clean and sober. Right. I have to find joy in other things, and not hide out in a room of other alcoholics. As beneficial as that is and has a place, I have to have something besides that. I have to go to church. I have to have my music. I have to have my advocacy. I have to have my network. I have to have positive interactions, and just be able to get out into the world and interact as a restored person, a restored citizen, because I'm also from a felony background. So I'm striving to be a better person, as well as, you know, a productive member of society, and help my community as well.
Absolutely.
And you work with a lot of the population as well, that from the prison system, you know, with people like myself that came from the very bottom of the barrel. And we've turned our lives around, and we have a voice in this matter. So, say what are examples of things people can do within their own communities to advocate for recovery, to advocate for change?
Well, I think it's vitally important that we take a second to really recognize that anybody that's in recovery, at least from my experience, we are going to be exposed to the most popular model, which is 12-step. And I don't want to go past, I don't want to jump beyond that just yet, Higgy, because 12-step saved my life. The room saved my life, no doubt. Okay,
Absolutely.
13 years. I was that guy that could quote the big book cover to cover, sponsored hundreds of men, and had aspirations of being that guy over in the corner with the long beard and the beer belly, you know, hitting people with cliches all day long upside the head. But if you've taken on the responsibility of helping somebody else, like you said, Higgy, you have to expose individuals to as many pathways and allow them to choose, because yes, our addictions were so unique. Our recovery is even more unique. Okay, it's about as unique as our fingerprints. And if you have on the horse blinders and you're preaching one thing, you're just creating a sober bubble versus that using bubble. Okay. And there is a great, big, giant world out there that was created just for us, with purpose inside of you, for you to manifest something to contribute to that world before you leave this earth.
That's
and
right.
a lot of people miss out on that, and they kind of get in and they get settled in, and they just get real comfortable within the rooms. And then that becomes their circle, their source of strength, and life just really passes them by. And I'm on a mission to make sure that doesn't pass us by. And that's why we create legislation, and we talk about funding, and we talk about laws that will not only open up doors and provide services, but allow us to take field trips, you know, and go camping and have national conventions in different parts of the states and the country, to where we can get together and be exposed to things outside of the rooms.
Absolutely. And there's a huge difference for, you know, there's a huge difference between being abstinent, clean and sober, and living recovery, and taking an active role in your recovery, and finding joy and peace through the process.
Well, I think a lot of us just settle for sobriety. I mean, and there's nothing really wrong with that, except when you begin to realize that you have a purpose, and that it's not to just go half on rent and a baby with somebody for the rest of your life, and to work a job for somebody else. You know, that's not what you were created for. You know, we as a people are some of the most creative people on the planet. I mean, if you look at FI Community Housing, if you look at Wilson Empowerment, if you look at, you know, everything that's in this book and all the stuff that's been created to help us up to now, that came from people like us, you know.
That's right.
I dare anybody that's under the sound of my voice to just really shock themselves with what they're able to do. And beyond what you've done up till now, not just help point somebody in the right direction. You got a responsibility to do that, but take a deep look at yourself and really think about what it is that you want to do and accomplish in life, and take it to that next level. You know, I tell people all the time, work as hard as you can, to where when you introduce yourself as a person in recovery, people look at you like, what? No way. Because and that's a way that we can also fight the stigma that's out there, you know, is to be a good representative of recovery. But the majority of us don't even know what recovery is.
True that. And you're a self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur.
It's a sickness, bro. No, yeah, I do have multiple companies that I do oversee, and each and every one of them are tied directly into my heart's passion, and that's to save as many lives and teach people to appreciate every breath that they take while they're here.
Absolutely, and you have an entrepreneurial program as well attached to Wilson Empowerment, don't you?
Absolutely. Yes, yes. I'm a firm believer that none of us are supposed to work for anybody. Well, maybe a small portion of us, but the majority of those that I've met in recovery along my journey, they are so creative, so talented, carry so many gifts that we need to exploit those gifts as much as we can, to the point to where they are starting businesses on their own, and then maybe mixing in how it could benefit the recovery community in one way, shape, or form.
Beautiful, beautiful. So one of the projects you have undertaken is you wrote a book.
I did. I actually wrote a book, and then it turned into two books. But long story short, I've been working on my memoirs for a long time, screaming at the top of every mountain and the tallest buildings in all the cities that, hey, you know what? Not only am I living proof, but I found a solution, something that works. And how do I get that out there? And, the opioid epidemic hit Ohio extremely hard, starting in around 2014. 2016, 147 overdoses over a 4-day period in July. And it kind of set me back a little ways, but got back on it because I knew that it was part of my purpose. Shot off a proposal to a publishing company. Publishing company said, hey, you know what? We'll do your memoirs later. Bro, we need to know the keys to winning on this addiction battlefield. So that's where the book came about, and that's where the new title came from. And you guys will have to, it's got some of my story, but you have to wait for the full story. So, but this is the book here. Is that backwards? Somebody?
No, I can see it perfect.
Okay, fantastic. So my viewers over there.
So
yes.
With the expletive, I'll just say it. Fuck heroin. Really, just
fuck heroin.
Fuck heroin.
Yes.
And it's a powerful statement, and it's coming from an elder.
And again, it's a revelation. How do I get that message out there? And the timing, and is almost, well, it is heaven sent, because again, I know we have a solution. I've seen it, 1,000 times throughout my program over the last 23 years, men and women who are living the kind of lives that they want. So, heroin. Okay, let's use it. If it's out there, it's become a household name, even if we didn't ever want it to be under the circumstances, let's use it. And then it became an exclamation. Yes, I stand on it all day long. Heroin.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Disregard and disrespect for something that you just absolutely loathe.
That's it. And then a declaration. It's a battle cry also. If we can lead a charge with that much animosity and everything, let's make it happen for the good of the people. And the kicker is that because my family asked me, why did you settle on something like that? You're a man of the cloth. You're a minister and an elder. And,
I've asked you that.
Yes, you did. I think I still have the screenshot when I showed it to you the first time. The look on your face is priceless. So, but I work with so many families that have lost loved ones to addiction and overdose, that and they're so upset with God, to their understanding of God. So my message to them has been and will continue to be, let's cuss out if we got to cuss, not God, but the root, the cause of what's going on. And for the majority of them over the last 5 years, it's been heroin. So
that's right. And you've suffered some tragic losses yourself, personally. And it's just this problem is not going away anytime soon, and we need to keep pushing awareness out there, education, proof. We need more people standing up, speaking out, and being representatives of products of recovery, showing that it is possible, no matter how far down you come from, you can reclaim your life and have, purpose, destiny, have a life beyond your wildest dreams. Everything that I said I wanted coming into recovery. If I had gotten only that, I would have sold myself so far short. And for those that don't know, Denny baptized me and my son together over the summer last year.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's the only thing I ever really wanted out of my recovery was a reestablished relationship with my son, and I have that. And now we're planning a summer vacation to the West Coast and drive down the coast from Washington State to Los Angeles.
Beautiful.
The week of Memorial Day. It is beautiful. It is. Recovery brings families back together and helps people reclaim their lives.
And that's the beauty of the progressiveness, or the process. And so many times we get into a point to where we don't trust the process, and again we try to push things. Think of your recovery and the work that you can do, like throwing a stone into a pond. I hate to be so cliche-ish, but that's how it starts. It starts right there in the middle, and that ripple effect. I didn't get to the point to where I can go on a nationwide book tour or show up in any of the major cities and some of the smaller cities around the country overnight. And there was work that was being done long before the technology that's in place, like Facebook, to where you can put your content and your message and the positivity and receive some of those things. You look behind me, I'm in my library right now. Okay. This is stuff you had to pick up, you had to search out, you had to sit down, you had to find the time to read. Now you can listen. Man, listen. Now you can listen. You can pull up a video on anything that might be plaguing you, low self-esteem, finances, relationships, recovery, all of that stuff. Hey, Darren, thank you, bro. All of that stuff is at your fingertips. That phone that you have in your hand has more power than the computers that used to run the country 15 years ago. Okay. So just think about that. You have the time. If you are clean and sober and you have taken on the responsibility of helping people, start with you. Add as much value to you first. Let it ripple out. Find out who your city council people are, who your county council people are, and the commissioners or what have you. Then your state reps. Okay, from the state reps, find out who your lobbyists and your legislators are. It is so important that you do not try to make a name, but you let your name make you. Okay, if that makes sense. If you are focusing on you, you're going to get out there, okay? And it's not a popularity contest.
Absolutely
I cannot tell you the number of unseen, uncompensated care that people don't even know about, that's gone unrecorded, but has had a huge impact along my journey. I was 19 years into my recovery before I seen the inside of the White House. Okay. Before my phone started ringing from people that I thought I would never meet, and don't call me lucky. It's just the fact that I followed a model. I read, I researched, I got a mentor, and I continue to do the right thing for me first. And it just blossomed from there.
That's right. And you have some major affiliations with some real power players, for lack of a better word, movers, shakers that have created this ripple effect of change. And you're adding value to everything that we're doing. You try to help as many people along the way, and me being one of them. That person that he was talking about that needed to slow down and take his time was me. That's me.
Right.
So that slow down. I'm living proof that you force things into place that you're not prepared for. the wheels will fall off. And
and if we're working a spiritual program, and if you believe in God, God works in steps and stages. Okay. He's going to allow you to take a step, okay, and enter into a stage, but he'll allow you to walk out of that when you're not ready, just so that you can get back into that. Okay. And I'm not talking about picking up and using or anything like that. I'm talking about being emotionally strong. Okay. Being physically fit, morally awake. Okay. All of that stuff. Absolutely. So all of that stuff. Hey, Jim. So
big Jim down.
So, I mean, I really want you guys, if you really want to have the kind of impact and the kind of lives that you want, reel it in a little bit. Okay. Focus on you. Be honest about the areas of I don't want to say weakness, but those areas that need improvement in your life. Be true to yourself. Work on those things more than anything. Once you strengthen yourself in those areas, then you can move on to the next one. And I promise you, you will be presented with people along the way that you can utilize whatever you're working on you to help them. And then it'll just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So.
Absolutely. Well, what else were we going to talk about? What about let's talk about getting some people to the elections polls, the elections.
OMG, I'm going to get our soapbox out. Okay. You have no idea how many of us around the country have really fought for us to be able to have our voting rights, regardless of some of the stuff that we've done in the past, including some of our felony convictions. Okay. Recovery has to stay in the forefront of our minds, but it does not always have to be the driving force of our life. And you have a right to vote. And a lot of people have pushed hard and fought to get to the point to where you can go out there and exercise that right.
That's right.
And if you and I am looking at some of these other folks that are out here that share time and space on the Hill, that are in recovery, that are vocal about it, that are up to date on some of the issues. I really want them to run for public office. If you want to make the kind of change and everything, study the political system. Find out what you can do. I know mayors that are in recovery today. I know Congress people that are in recovery. Absolutely. The Hill is full of people that are in recovery. Okay. And those are people that, again, decided that they were going to take personal responsibility, honed into what it was that they had deep inside of them as far as that was connected to their purpose. And it just ended up on the political side. I can see politicians on this feed. Let's go. Let's go make some real change.
And you've had some intimate conversations in private settings with some really powerful people that are trying to effect change, and we need the general public's support in this, because at this point everybody has someone or knows someone that's been affected. We've had family members die, our loved ones, our best friends, and we need change. We need longer treatment. We need more treatment options. We need funding. The list goes on and on and on. And this is why I do this, to keep spreading the message of hope. Education awareness is key. Solidarity is got to come. We have to come together at some point and put our personal motives and objectives, hidden agendas aside, or our people are going to continue to die and die and die.
Right. And you know what, let me touch on that real quick from my perspective and my experience. Again, I mean, if you are in a position where you are dealing with stuff, dealing with people that are not healthy for you, there are 4 types of people in this world. There are people that add, subtract. There are people that add, subtract, multiply, and divide us. Okay. Get rid of the ones that subtract, okay, and divide us. Hang around the ones that multiply us and add to us, okay? Yeah. And you can easily identify them because they've always got something negative to say about somebody else or about what they heard and all this other stuff. You don't have time for that. This is life or death. If you're anything like me, you got more days behind you than you do in front of you. You might as well maximize them while you're here. So get rid of them, folks.
That's right. It's never too late or too soon to get your shit together.
That's right.
So
all right.
is there anything else you would like to touch on? Do you have any upcoming peer support trainings?
Yeah, I actually, and I retire after every one, you know that, right? So, yeah. And I started when I was at 600. I'm up to 800 and 893 if everybody completes and shows up for tomorrow. In April, the end of April, there's another peer support. There's some going to training that I'll be personally co-facilitating with for the week. There's a couple coming up in Akron, Ohio. But if you check the website, again, that's OMAS, Ohio Mental Health and Addiction Services / peer supporter. You'll be able to find those things, get involved. Right now, the requirements, the prereqs aren't as stringent as they were in the past, to where you had to have at least 2 years of verifiable recovery in order to enter into these. I think it's dropped down to a minimum of 6 months. We're building an army out there. And if you're dedicated to your recovery, then by all means, get involved, join the team. Heroin's Grip is coming to Ohio. It's going to make its Ohio premiere right on, I believe it's May 17th, the day before my book launch party in Youngstown, Ohio. And FI Community Housing is directly involved with bringing that wonderful, incredible masterpiece and spreading the word about that. So if you have not checked out Heroin's Grip movie, check that out also. Let's see.
Directed by Simon, is that his name? What's the producer's name?
Conrad Weaver.
Conrad. I apologize,
Yes.
Conrad. I know that. And my dear friend from the Baltimore area, Sean Nicholson, played a role in that. It's a very powerful and moving, raw documentary.
It's probably, and no indictment or towards any of the other stuff that's come out before now, but this is probably the best one that I've had privilege to take a look at. So by all means, contact Heroin's Grip movie and see if you can bring it to your community, because that's what they're involved in right now, getting it out there to as many communities as possible.
Thank you, Denny. Thank you for all the information. I'm gonna get you back on here again soon. I would like to bring Sean Blanchard on as well.
Oh, absolutely. Bring the millennial mogul.
Yeah. and Sean Blanchard has a very powerful testimony as well. Sean was born a crack baby, and now he is a millionaire mogul, author, promoter, publisher, speaker. He does the whole gamut. This guy is brilliant. So to have you two together talking about empowering other men and promoting entrepreneurship, people that want to write books, tell them how to do that. Just to get you guys on here, just to get you two together on my platform, just gives credence to what I'm trying to do with the Survivor Series and No More Heroin. We want to empower people. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I touch on that for a second? The importance of your story. Okay. You already know our stories have power. Okay. They inspire, they encourage, they provide the hope that is needed beyond a shadow of a doubt. I would encourage you right now to not only share your story as often as you can with as many people as you can, but start putting that story on paper. Okay. I'll tell you why. And this is one of the revelations that I got working with an individual like Sean, who is my book mentor. How many songs do you hear and you go like, oh, I remember that song. Okay. Songs fade away. Okay. books never fade away. Okay, movies fade away. Books never fade away. Think about Who Moved My Cheese, popular book that's still out there. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Here's one you might have heard of: the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, these books never ever go away. They carry on for generations after generations after generations. One way that you could leave a positive impact on your lineage, create that legacy for you, not only sharing your story, planting the seeds of hope into other people, but also taking the time to write your story out. All we want you to do is write it. All we want you to do is write it. You do not have to be an English major. You're talking to a guy with a GED, okay? So that has been able to do so many extraordinary things because of recovery, because I worked on myself, and because of God. So just think about that. If you want to write your book, look me up, inbox me, send me a friend request. Let's make it happen.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that message. Again, everybody, this is Elder Denny Wilson, founder and CEO of FI Community Housing, Ohio's oldest and longest standing men's recovery community to date. He is also a major advocate for recovery. Been to the White House, Senate, the Hill, to Columbus, Ohio, the state of Ohio. He's been on the floor advocating for change. He is the creator and implementer, facilitator of the Ohio Peer Support Specialist Program. This guy is a wealth of knowledge, and he's willing to help, people doing the right things for the right reason. He knows how to put sober livings together. He's a man of God. He's a great mentor. He's a great friend, and he's got the coolest hairstyle I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you're making me the bro hawk. The bro.
Yeah, the bro hawk, bro. There you go.
Right on. Thanks, Matt. Higgy, I appreciate you so much, man. I've watched you grow and grow and grow and get hit, and then grow some more, and then grow some more. And your endurance, your resilience, man, is admirable beyond words. So God bless you, and thank you for being a part of my life and my journey.
Thank you, brother. I love you very much. Thank you. You guys have any questions or comments? Put them in the comments in the feed.
Let's hang out for a minute. See if anybody's got any questions.
Okay, throw up your questions, folks. Big Jim Downs, I have your banner on my banner because I am now an official sponsor of Big Jim Downs Ride Around America for Addiction Recovery. We're putting together an event in Madison, Wisconsin in August, and in Chicago, and other tentative dates in Indiana and Ohio. If Jim can swing through Akron, Ohio, Denny Wilson.
Oh man, yeah. Let me spoil you for a minute while you're here. Rest up, man. We can pour into each other, feed off each other, break bread. I'll fire up the grill. Let's do it.
So Ed, when he comes to Columbus to speak on the state capitol steps, will you come and speak with him and share that message of recovery? There
Absolutely.
You go. Jim Downs.
Absolutely.
One of the largest advocates in the state of Ohio making changes is going to be standing with you and myself on the state capitol in Ohio, in Columbus. We're going to raise a ruckus. We're going to get some media attention. We're going to bring recovery communities together, because when Denny Wilson gets involved with things, other people want to be involved with it, because he's a man that affects change and knows the right way to go about doing it. As a matter of fact, we did we were contesting Medicaid, the changes to Medicaid, and in the span of 3 days, he organized a crowd of 5,000 people to show up. I mean, that was just like flash mob type scenario, and it affected the change that needed to happen.
That's right.
And we stand behind. I stand behind Denny. He's knowledgeable. He's got his finger on the pulse of change, and he's seen things happen and go wrong, and looking for ways to implement a better way of doing things so that we can be effective in this fight. Jill Young, I will come to Columbus. Hi, Jill Young. You guys have
Jill
any
Young.
questions? Pastor Denny, where did he go? Pastor Denny, Elder Denny Wilson, not pastor. He's of the Lutheran faith. You're a priest, right?
No, it's elder, and people call me pastor all the time. It's okay.
Pastor, give me the good word, preacher. So leave us with a hope shot, Denny. Anybody out there struggling that can't seem to find a way out, has relapsed, you know, guys like me that need that hope shot. You give them some words of encouragement before we shut down.
I think the biggest hope shot that I can provide right now is if you could take your right two fingers and put them on your left wrist and feel something, then there's hope. Okay, no matter what's happened, what's transpired up to that very moment, no matter what you're thinking right now, you have not lost anything. You have gained more insight, if anything else. And recovery, there's plenty enough room for you. That life that you think about when you lay your head down at night, the clothes, the cars, the relationships, the house, the jobs, the money, all of that stuff is still available to you. But all you have to do is get beyond the decision that you've made and enter into that realm of commitment. And that commitment is not to staying clean and sober, but that commitment is to you, and you are more than worth it.
You are worthy. You heard that. You are worthy. You are worthy of love, to give it, feel it, and receive it. You know, chase your dreams. Stay clean, chase dreams. You know, you have a voice. You were given a voice for a reason. You use your experience to help somebody else. Use your pain for passion, and fight for your life on a daily basis. Scrolling across the screen is a website to Denny book. We have a date for a book launch event in Youngstown, Ohio. What is the date on that, Denny Wilson?
That's May 17th. The purchase of your book is your entrance. We've got an amazing venue lined up, a couple of different stages. We're going to feed everybody. We've got some. I'm not going to announce who's going to be, on the celebrity side of things coming in, because that turns into a. But we've got some entertainment. We're going to laugh. I got some comedians coming in. And wait till you see this 200-bed amazing treatment facility that is just doing outstanding things for people. I mean, it's lit up like a 12-star hotel. So 40 tub, 40-person hot tub, come on, let's party.
A restaurant inside a nightclub setting with a stage and sound. This is very well put together. This venue, the Hotel California.
Yes. So, and again, the pre-order window is closing very fast. This is your opportunity to get that invitation. Be one of the first ones to get a personalized copy of this book before it hits mainstream. I'm gonna sign it, and I'm gonna shoot you a personal message between what God tells me to tell you. You're gonna get the book. You're gonna be drafted into what I call the real warriors. Okay, have an opportunity to fight down on the Warriors Creed, which is spreading across the country like you would not believe. I'm gonna send you a patch that signifies that you are part of this new army and that you're winning on the battlefield of addiction. And above all, you'll have an invitation that'll be your way to get into this amazing event, to where we're not only going to talk about the book and recovery, we're going to have some fun. We're going to eat some good food. And I'm going to be doing a couple exercises with everybody to expand everybody's mind.
I hear you have a semi-well-known MC coming in.
Yeah, Higgy's going to be emceeing the joint. Ace Boogie's going to be spinning the records. We're going to have a dance after the formalities and all this stuff. Alec Simon is coming in from the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's going to, the Q sticks. We're going to have some fun. Uncle Pimpin, Ernest Moore, the comedian, is going to be bringing the shots.
Are we going to have a Denny Wilson roast?
That's entirely up to y'all.
I'm thinking about it.
It's entirely up to you guys, man. I will sit there and I will take the heat because I promise you, recovery's been good. Life has been good. So, and I don't want to spend, I wouldn't want to spend the evening like this with anybody else than my friends in recovery and the new friends that I'm going to meet that are supporting me through this book, which, by the way, every 247 books that are sold put somebody in recovery housing. So it's not like I'm sitting back profiteering off of this book. No, I've got other ventures that take care of me and my family. This is for people. So
give my best to your beautiful wife and family. I love you.
I will. We love you too. So
okay.
Anybody have any questions? We good?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Everybody's giving you shout outs. Johnny Childress, love you,
Johnny
bro.
C.
I talked to him today. Dave Wheeler, I see you, brother. Glad you're in here. Hi, Kareen. Where's this at? It's at the book launch is gonna be in Youngstown, and then there's gonna be a follow-up event
on May 21st in Akron. That's my 24-year recovery anniversary. That's going to be at the Alpha Phi Alpha House in Akron. A little more scaled down, a little more intimate. We're not going to let our hair down at this thing, but we are going to have a good time there too.
Food, fun, festivities, recovery, family, music, entertainment, fellowship. Did I say fellowship? Fellowship. Good times to be had by all. Come get a book, participate in an amazing event for a good cause. Absolutely. We need more people. I'll say it again. Stand up, speak out. We need more people coming out of the shadows, repping their recovery, showing that it is possible. And I love each and every one of you on here. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for showing up, showing love and support. Thank you, Elder Denny Wilson, for taking the time. I know you've had a very long day, so I truly appreciate this. I'll get back with you soon. Give my best to Mr. Rob Rawlings.
Big Daddy Rob. Yeah, Rob is doing amazing.
Yeah, he's doing phenomenal stuff up there. I'm glad he's with you, and you're tutoring and mentoring him through this process as well. He's doing good things in your sober living. So
he holds my ladder like you would not believe, brother. So good. Yeah. So it's good stuff. Rob, love you if you're watching.
All right. Good night, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be seeing you guys tomorrow night. We're a Survivor Series. I'll be featuring Andy Roy, professional skateboarder, his story of redemption. Guys, check him out on YouTube. The man's got 190,000 followers on Instagram. He's been around the world on the skating tour. His struggles with addiction have been well publicized and documented all over YouTube, all over skater magazines. He is living clean and sober. He is living in Huntington Beach, California, Denny.
I know Huntington.
He's a product of your mentors program.
What's up? Awesome.
Wavelengths. But yeah, anyways, thank you again, everybody. We're peacing out. Love you, Denny. Bye.
Love you too. Good night, everybody.